Welcome to Thank God You're Not My Child. Remember, it's a comedy podcast where I talk about whatever I want to. And today, my shit soapbox are emotions. We all have them. And sometimes they're big and you just don't understand them. Somebody may see something and the past might come up and they just make you sad. And it just made me start thinking of over the years, all of these kids that I had to work with on their emotions. Because if we're having problems, I'm 55 and I still have those days that I miss my kids, you know, uh, things like that. And you don't know what causes it. I call it that black hole you're in, where you just want to stay inside and you just want to be in the dark and maybe watch a movie, but just don't be around people. That made me start thinking all these little kids in school and stuff, because, because of this podcast, a lot of people send me videos of kids throwing fits and stuff. And, I have made videos of some, kids cussing at their parents and stuff. I think that's more of a parent problem. There was one that little kid was standing up on the table and was slapping his sister and telling, you bitch, leave my stuff alone. He learned that from someone. I'm not talking about those feelings. I'm talking about the feelings of if your child's getting bullied, if, I've also had a lot of kids that's had to wear pull-ups, up to 6 or 7 at night because controlling that, and they couldn't go spend the night with people because they were embarrassed. And those feelings can be big. And you have to learn how to take care of the feelings no matter how old you are. So that made me start thinking, those 1-year-olds that are biting, they're not biting to eat someone, they're not Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay, yeah, that was funny. They don't know what to do. Maybe they scream at their friends. Maybe they cry. Maybe they bite, hit, push, or bully. Maybe those bullies don't understand their emotions, and that's why they're like that. Sometimes the bullies are getting bullied at home. Check that out. So instead of pushing feelings under, let's teach those 1 and 2-year-olds how to use their words, that if you need to slip in that little space to get yourself straight, that maybe it's needed. I was a big one that, you know, if that child just needed a day home to do nothing, it wasn't always horrible. Because sometimes who doesn't want a fucking day off? You know what I mean? Because fucking days off, let's just get it. Uh, I worked for so many years, you're with daycare. I was a one-woman show, if you know what I mean. And I would be up at 5 or earlier to make sure everything was ready, my family was done, my husband at the time was up, and I had breakfast to cook and lunch to cook and 10 kids to take care of and my kids to get to school. And that could be hard sometimes. So sometimes that Friday night, I just needed to put a movie on and zone out. And that was how I took care of it. I also worked out and jitsu and stuff like this because when those big feelings hit, you have to know how to take care of them. So let's teach these kids how to. Let's teach them. It's okay. If you're sad, it's okay. Let's figure out, maybe you need to figure out why, what happened, and how to get over it. But if your child's not learning when they're young how to take care of their feelings as they get older and puberty hits and they still don't know how to do with their feelings, this is where, I take depression meds and I had to have a pastor tell me it was okay, that it was just my chemicals in my body was off and all, and I had blood work done in the whole bit, and we're trying to even it out. But it took a pastor from my church to say, you know what? I have to take that too, and I don't know why you get so sad and depressed because life is good. And it took a pastor of mine to tell me it was okay to take meds. And Now, I wouldn't put a little kid on meds for depression and stuff. I'm sure there's teenagers out there that need it, and I get that. Each child's different. But if they don't know how to handle their feelings as they grow up, they're going to be that 22-year-old child screaming and hollering at people in the store because they don't know how to deal with it. And that's the whole thing. We need to remember to teach our kids as they're little. You teach a kid, don't bite. If they're breastfeeding, you teach your child not to bite, if you know what I mean. And that's what we have to do. And I think we've been lacking that. You know, don't cry. Don't cry. Have you ever heard that when you were little? Now, I can say I didn't, but I've heard a lot of parents saying, don't cry. Sissies cry, stuff like that. And that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because if you've got feelings, I mean, when I get mad, the first thing I do is I'm going to cry because I'm so mad. And sometimes I get so mad and I could just, Dexter them, if you know what I mean. But you can't. You don't do that kind of stuff. So sometimes the tears are the things that come out first before I get my words straight to know what the fuck I'm feeling and what I need to be saying. So if I have to do that, what makes you think a kid doesn't have to? So I'm just going to say, let's let these kids have their feelings. Let's let them figure them out when they're young. So maybe it will be easier when they get older. Because we all have feelings. We get sad. We miss someone. My brother just passed away a few months ago, and I see pictures of him on Facebook, and, I get sad. And I get so busy, and didn't get to see him all the time. But, I pray for my sister-in-law, Beth, all the time because those feelings are very hard to work with. And it's nothing that I've ever went through. I haven't lost a spouse. I'm getting married, and he lost a spouse. His wife passed away. Complications and a lot of stuff and sickness, and COVID finally took her out. And he still has those feelings. Just because we're getting married doesn't mean that he's not going to have feelings about his wife. I would have loved her. I haven't heard anything bad about her. But he has to be allowed to work through his feelings even though we're together. So how are you going to help your kids work through feelings? How are you going to do it? Are you going to let them, I suggest let them, if they like to draw or color, get them a sketchbook. Let them spend some time alone. If they can write, let them do a journal. I was my kids went to church a lot. And I know my daughter still does devotions and various such. And my son, he still reads and stuff to do that. And that's how the feelings you have to work with is we choose to work them out with God. But choose what you want. Let's let these little kids learn their fucking feelings. So maybe there won't be so many fits. And maybe there won't be so many bullies because maybe a bully will understand what he's doing to another child when they're making fun of them or something. Or worse, picking on them. You know what I mean? So that's my shit soapbox for today. Let your fucking kids feel it and learn how to deal with it when they're young. If you know what I mean. Okay, so just between us. This physical therapy I've started, holy shit. It's so simple, the things that he's got me doing, but yet, man, I can be sore after leaving there, the calves, and it's sore like you work out. Holy shit. That's all I can say. It's helping. It is helping. But it's very hard when I have always been, probably since 07 or 08, 2008 maybe, very active. Marathons, half marathon. It's just been very hard to know that the simple things that I'm supposed to be doing is hurting the body so much. So I'm going to tell you, nerve damage sucks. And guess what? Age can suck too. Which brings back to the sadness. Yeah. See? Just between us. Keep me in your vibes, good vibes, your prayers, whatever you do. Because this physical therapy, hey, I'm still walking like an ape. But I'm getting there, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Lord have mercy, keep me walking. But I did have this week have something happen, and it just made me those feelings come up. But I had a friend. Well, I'm gonna tell you, he was a friend, but now the way he's acting, I don't even think I want to be around him. I'm just gonna say that. I was told that because I worship on Sundays, that I had the mark of the beast. I was like, really? I've also been told that maybe I was going to hell because I used the word fuck, which if you think that's going to send me to hell, you might be some of the problem. You know what I mean? Yeah, hey, you know what I mean again. Shit, I probably need to stop saying that. Didn't we do this a couple of episodes ago? Yeah, we did. And I'm leaving all that shit in, if you know what I mean. Oh. So, yeah. And I also believe that just because I might go to church on a Sunday and other people go on Saturdays, you should be worshiping every day. You should. I mean, I thank God every day for the trees and I have a creek here. I can go down and spend alone time when I need to. Or I can take the boat with me, huh? Got that creek. And it's very easy to worship every day. I pray for people every day. I'm the type that if I'm driving along and see somebody walking on the road, I don't know why they're walking on the road. But you know what, Lord? Just help them. Help them. Maybe their car broke down. Maybe I should have stopped and asked them if they needed help. That's a whole nother thing, whole nother story. You remember when you could hitchhike and it wasn't a big deal? And now I think it's against the law in most states, which I don't blame them. Do you know how many people get hurt hitchhiking? But it didn't used to. Well, okay, it was always kind of rough. Because, I mean, you hear about some of the people that would serial killers and hitchhikers and stuff, so I take that back. It's always been a little fishy. Yeah, just a little bit. But, you never know why first of all, I live in a small town. I think that you should walk through the small town instead of driving everywhere because it's, a small town. One of my favorite podcasts, Drinking the Kool-Aid, one of them, I don't even know if she has a car. I think they live in Long Beach. I think it's Long Beach. I should fucking check before I talk about them, you think? Anyway, she walks like everywhere. And when you can get to all the places, why not? Because I'm going to tell you, remember me talking about how expensive it was to drive around DFW? Holy shit. It could be a whole $1,000 just to go to work 5 days a week. And it's crazy. So hitchhiking, was that what we were? Yeah. Yeah, this episode's kind of everywhere because, I'm still vibing on, I have the mark of the beast. I mean, what exactly does that mean just because you're worshiping on a day they don't believe? It's probably the same ones that me eating bacon, I'm going to hell too. So, but if you think you're going to hell because of something you eat, I'm not sure that's the God that I want to follow. You know what I mean? Oh, fuck, there it is again. So, yeah, let's just mark of the beast. Who would say something like that? I know who, and it's a big old asshole. That's what it is. I'm not one to say names and all, but if you know me, you know who it was. And you know what? I don't think I would lift a finger to help him. And I have helped a lot. When you live off grid, neighbors have to help. And I know my man's helped a lot over the years. And to say something like that and be so mad at somebody you don't even know just because I go to church on a day you don't believe. You know what, guys? That's not what God's about. Everybody says you don't judge. It's kind of like, are you judging if I'm eating a bacon and you think I should go to hell? Is that judgment? Why don't we judge some of these? I won't even bring up political, the lies that are told and all. And then it's like, well, don't judge that person because, you know what? We all know that we're not supposed to judge, but we also know that you do. I'm sure people judge me on shit I wear. I can be a little colorful sometimes, and that's how I'm happy. So, like it or leave it, I just don't really give a fuck. But why? Why would you judge somebody because of the day they worship? I mean, I just don't get it. What about the churches that are so big and they think they have to go like on a Saturday night? Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Are they going to have the mark of the beast? You see? Slinging shit you don't know. That's what my week's been. Having an asshole slinging shit because he's so sad at himself that he's got to blame everybody else for his shortcomings. Maybe he should have learned more about his feelings when he was little. All I've heard ever is, oh, I was the last one. I was the only boy. I was mistreated. I was beaten. You know what? If you've had a rough past, the best way to do it is to just move on, you know? Just move on. Yes, it's going to be hard. We talked about it earlier. Feelings are going to come up. You're going to be sad. But don't take it out on other people. But if you're in a shitty spot and you're still blaming it on the way you were raised, and then you got to throw people under the bus with like a mark of the beast, what the fuck? What the fuck? It's not people you want to hang around with anyway. I don't really care what you believe. I think that's what Jesus wants us to do is hang out with people, all different kinds of people. I think there's a purpose to every denomination. It's not my place to judge people. It's not my place to judge people if they don't believe in God. It's just not my job. So when I am judged, it can kind of fuck you up a little. It did. All I could say is no, no. And I did go to the Bible. I did search some things. I understand where they're seeing that, but it's that let's just take this little section here and let's twist it for what we need. I mean, if you go back to the original years and years and years ago, is all of it really that true anyway? So I do believe you need to believe in what you believe in. But don't be telling people they've got the fucking mark of the beast because they worship on a different day. You know what? I guess that is a shit soapbox also. Guess I had two this episode. This episode's kind of been all over, but that's where this put me this week was all over the fucking thing. School started and seeing kids throwing fits and didn't know how to handle it. And, a whole nother episode we're going to have. It might have to be next week. I guess kids go into kindergarten in diapers. And I'm not talking about autistic kids because each kid's different. We talked about this. I'm talking about parents that say, oh, well, it was just too hard. No. I bet your child can run a tablet or a computer, but they can't wipe their own ass and go to the bathroom before kindergarten. I don't think they should be in school if they can't. Because if they can't learn to potty train, what else are you expecting them to learn? And remember, this has nothing to do with autistic. This is just a normal child that probably doesn't understand because it's parents. It's just too hard. I think that's going to be next week's episode. You know what I mean? Oh, there it is again. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, we're getting so close to flying to Alaska on 9/11. Be getting married on Friday, September 13th. Yes, he's doing that for me because that is my favorite day, Friday the 13th. But we're eloping and it's getting so close. I'm actually going to do an episode about Alaska and things that we do and stuff. So that'll be interesting. So yeah, so it's getting close. And just remember, if you make it through this episode, it was a weird week. And right now, do I have the mark of the beast? What the fuck? I mean, I've got some tattoos, but I don't think I put the mark of the beast on me anywhere. So yeah. Well, I think I told you everything I know and more, if you know what I mean. There it is again. Until next time, thank God you're not my child.